Hi, my name is Jeff Mason, and today I was going to be talking to you about the diminished scale and its various applications. So let's see what I can demonstrate here. This is the diminished scale. Set it to 120 here at metronome, and it'll be in G. Now, you may be wondering what that's used over. First and foremost, it's used over a diminished chord. The diminished chord is built like this. Or this, the 10th fret. So, you may have heard something like this. Diminished patterns repeat themselves every minor third up the neck. So it sounds something like this. And that is a sound you may recognize from somewhere or other, but the pattern with diminished scales in any key is that they repeat themselves. So if you have G diminished, it would more or less begin itself again. Flat third above, so it sounds like this. And again. And again. So that's a pretty far out sound for some of you, no doubt, but it's very useful in jazz and classical music, and also in certain crazy rock songs. But the thing to remember about a diminished scale is, there are only 4 of them. So this would be G, B flat, D flat, and E. And all 4 of those are the same notes. So it's a pretty interesting scale in that regard. It also goes along with something called the Augmented scale, which I touched on earlier, which would be based on an augmented chord, which sounds like this. La, la, la. And it's kind of that old 50s thing, but it's also used in metal and all kinds of other stuff, so, jazz as well. So this is an augmented scale. Let's get the metronome going. Okay, and that outlines the augmented chord, or the 7 sharp 5 chord, if you prefer. And the 7 sharp 5 up here would be. And let's see, the thing about the augmented scale is, like the diminished scale, it repeats every 2 frets. It has a symmetrical sort of structure, and there are only 2 augmented scales. So here would be G augmented, A, B, D flat, E flat, F, G, and A, and so on. So what you could do with that, here's another pattern of the augmented scale, and it goes like this. After experimenting with this, I've noticed that you can sort of move this up and down the neck, like here's these 2 notes, for instance. And you can play this. And that is just sort of repeating that every 2 frets. Then of course the scale repeats too, so and it's got kind of a far out sound, and that could be used in all kinds of shred and stuff for all kinds of special effects, like weird stuff like that. And again, there's only 2 augmented scales and 4 diminished scales, so those are interesting, quite useful. And let's see, a couple of the applications I found for these scales, one of them would be in neoclassical shred, as they call it, and players like Yngwie Malmsteen use these sort of patterns a lot. Or he plays them really fast, like. And so on. And the reason for that is in chamber music, that figure appears quite a bit. So we're talking music from the 1700s. And say you're in A harmonic minor. This note, A flat, the leading tone, would be the basis for a diminished scale, and it's used a lot in classical. And here, you might recognize this. So we started in A harmonic minor, and then went to diminished, leads back into harmonic minor. So also you could use the whole scale. What I was using was a diminished arpeggio, and it sounds like this. And it repeats itself every 3 frets. And that gets kind of a screaming sound. It's pretty cool. Yngwie Malmsteen basically pioneered that, as far as I know. Alright, also, you can use a whole diminished scale. I've been trying to experiment with this a bit, so you could have a lick that would be something like. So that could be a diminished sort of sound for you to experiment with. Thank you.